America, good morning, good morning, good morning. And you join us on a little bit of a sad morning this morning. One of the little kittens, the little tabby one, passed away during the night last night. We actually thought that little fella stood a fighting chance. So now we're just down to one little white kitten. I'm going to obviously be burying him a little bit later this morning. We're going to bury him with his little sibling. Just where that little tree is there, that's growing out. That's where we buried the last little one, who we called Spot. We called this little fella, called him Hibbs. And the reason we called him Hibbs, because he looks a little bit like Herbert, one of our cats. We thought he might have been the father at one point, but after working out the timings, it didn't fit. So we're going to call him Hibbs, and then we're going to bury him after do the broadcast a little bit later on. Got little Sandy down here. He's coming up to say hello. Hello, Sandy. How you doing, lovely boy? And the weather today is absolutely glorious as well. Got a bit of cloud up there, but we were expecting the weather to be a bit bad yesterday, but it didn't really happen. In fact, we sat on the veranda yesterday afternoon listening to my last Northern Soul show on playback on online, and it was really nice having a couple of beers, sat on the veranda listening to the show, which has also the dance show has charted ever so quickly. I was really chuffed about that, but it was such a lovely afternoon yesterday afternoon. And I'm just looking now, I can see the lovely Amanda Gregory's weather forecast. She says, good morning, Ginge, sunny today with some cloud, high of 19 degrees. Feels like 23. Have a good day. Well, we'll wait and see, because I've got to be honest, the news from yesterday is actually not good either. It's very grim, the news from yesterday about what's going on at the moment. I'll get to that in a tick. I'll just quickly show you around the back of the house. Again, it's really warm today. It's beautiful today. Really lovely, lovely sun. We're all having a bit of a laugh yesterday about everybody going in the pub having a drink for the first time. I was quite surprised not many people did, actually, in the UK. Even Jane's brother, Daryl, who's been sat looking across at the pub across from where he lives, he's got a bird's eye view of it, although their pub was too small, one of those too small to to have a outside drinking area. Even he didn't sort of rush to the pub yesterday or rush to another pub. He just is still yet to do it, waiting for the novelty to wear off at the moment. Anyway, I've got this little fella down here, and he's having a whale of a time rolling about, aren't you? You're having a whale of a time rolling about. Oh, you little gorgeous you are. That's little Sandy boy, that is. There you go. Right, I've got to go up onto the veranda and do the news on the veranda. Anyway, so there you go. The weather today looking absolutely spectacular. And again, surrounded by more cats this morning. There's Mr. Boots down there. I know he's got a bit of a fan club with some people. And then we've got the lovely Nellie. She's like our patriarch. They are our two oldest cats, they are. And they're still doing all right, these two little lovelies. Right, let's quickly just switch round the screen and crack on with the stats. There we go, switch the screen round. Right then, let's have a look. I've warned you now, the news today is heavily COVID. There's been a lot going on in Greece within the last 24 hours. So let's crack on, shall we? Right then, it's 14th of April, 2021. It's a Wednesday, and it is now day 160 in the lockdown. And yesterday was quite a big day in regards of stats. Now, you may remember that yesterday I said to you there was 1,606 new infections across Greece. Well, yesterday that has gone up to 4,033 new infections were recorded across the country. That brings the grand total up to now well over 300,000, 300,001 and 103. So 3,001, 103 infections since the pandemic started. There were 15 new cases identified at ports of entry into the country. That was up from 9. And according to the national statistics yesterday, Lefkada had no cases. Kefalonia had no cases. Corfu had 11 cases, and Zakynthos, according to the national stats, we had 12 cases. However, locally reported, we had actually 14 new cases of coronavirus here on the island. That was confirmed around about 10 o'clock last night. So that's after the national stats are published. At the moment, no information as to who they are, where they were detected, but it is confirmed from the hospital that there was 14 cases of coronavirus here recorded yesterday on the island. Now, at the moment, that puts the stats as follows, that we've had 389 positive cases since the beginning of the year. And this month alone, we have had 115 cases for the month of April. So as you can see, we are going to probably catch up with the 184 cases of March, but we'll wait and see how things pan out. Now, when it comes to deaths across the country, the death level has also had a major spike. I think it's the highest amount of deaths recorded in one day. Yesterday, we said there were 76 new deaths across Greece. Today, I can report to you that there's been 93 new deaths across Greece. Once again, our condolences to those families that are affected. That brings the death toll at the moment to 9,054 since the pandemic started. Anyway, as normal, looking at those stats, 96% of those were people that were over the age of 70 who had underlying health conditions. And when you put that in context of the normal daily death rate in 2019 of 329 cases a day, that 93 is quite a considerable spike there on the what would be a normal daily death rate for 2019. At the moment, no reports that any of those deaths were from this island. So at the moment, at least, we haven't had any further deaths since the one last week of the 88-year-old woman, which was our first death for April. But all in all, Zakynthos has had 7 deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. And we've had 4 deaths on the island this year. Since the beginning of January. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on those figures. When it comes to critical cases at the moment, there's been a bit of an increase in those as well across the country. There were 781 people in incubation across Greece. That number has risen to 802. Of which 507 are male and 295 are female. So again, critical cases has also been pushed as well. The average age of those people in critical care at the moment is 67 years of age. 83% of those have underlying health issues or are over the ages of 70. So again, our figures are on the rise again, and everybody's trying to figure out how, why. And obviously proving that the lockdowns are not working, and obviously the virus is doing what it wants to do, and it is obviously having free run. Now, I've got some hot news off the press this morning as well, which again was not there last night, but is there this morning. The Greek National Vaccination Committee has announced that it's delaying the rollout of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine until safety has been confirmed. According to them, there's concerns has been raised by the extremely small number of cases of thrombosis in people who have received the vaccine, although a link has not yet been identified. Anyway, 6 people out of nearly 8 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine already given I'll say that again. 6 people out of nearly 8 million doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine already given developed a blood clot, out of which one of the patients died and one was hospitalized in critical conditions. So again, just to remind you that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine now is on hold here in Greece until further tests are carried out. Anyway, Germany continues its struggle with a third wave of COVID-19, recording 10,810 new cases in the last 24 hours. That's up on 7,000 from last week. With deaths rising to 294, and they had just 90 deaths the week previous. So it looks like Germany is also in the grip of a third wave coming through as well. The reason I'm reporting on Germany is because Germany is one of the nations who are the major player in tourism to Greece. The Germans are first, with Brits second, Poles third. And we were expecting the Germans to be arriving actually sometime towards the end of April. So again, we will keep an eye on that to see what happens there. Also, in Brazil, the crisis is rapidly becoming a countrywide tragedy of epic proportions, with the number of new infections exploding and deaths of 4,000 a day being recorded. In Sao Paulo, Brazil's financial centre, gravediggers are having to work through the night to keep up with the number of funerals. Authorities are also reporting a rising number of young people critically ill in hospital with COVID-19. Anyway, data also indicates that last month, more than half of the patients being treated in intensive care were under the age of 40. So it looks like Brazil at the moment are having a real issue with COVID at the moment. The reason I put that in, because that is some of the news that's been reported here in Greece, and also people make a decision from seeing what's going on in other countries as to whether we are going to have some form of season here in the summer, which hopefully we are, but when that will be, we will wait and see. Anyway, also as well, the US health authorities have called for a pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine after a number of cases of thrombosis have been documented. Reports that there has been 6 cases in the US of severe blood clotting out of 6.8 million doses of the vaccine given so far. This follows similar cases being reported regarding the AstraZeneca vaccine, and although the cases are extremely rare, the US Food and Drug Administration has stated that it is acting out of an abundance of caution. The 6 cases have all been female, aged between 18 and 48. 1 patient died and a further was hospitalized in critical condition. So basically, the Americans have stopped the administration of that vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So obviously the Greek government has followed as well. Right, more data then, more data released by the Greek government concerning the ongoing vaccination programme in Greece confirms that 2,212,000 vaccinations have been carried out, with 1,468,000, that's 14% of citizens, having received their first dose, and 743,000, that's 7%, having received both doses. With deliveries of the existing vaccine increasing and new drugs, but not the Johnson & Johnson, which has been put on hold, which is actually should have come on stream as of today. The vaccination program is gaining momentum. So again, I think we're going to see a little bit of a drop off on that vaccination program, because basically some of the vaccines are now being pulled aside, obviously, to be checked again. Anyway, Cyprus is considering restrictions similar to those adopted by Greece and the United Kingdom for the AstraZeneca vaccine, as the European health authorities continue to investigate reports of rare blood clots linked to the shot. In comments to the Cyprus Alpha TV on Tuesday morning, the health minister for Greece, a spokesman, Macardo, indicated that the country's expert committee is likely to recommend an age limit on the vaccine. Greece and the UK have prohibited it being administered to people under the age of 30 or some other type of restriction. However, the ratio of people becoming ill from the AstraZeneca shot is infinitesimally minimal compared to other risks they may face on day-to-day basis, she added, echoing the European Medicine Agency, which has said that the benefits of the vaccine far outweigh the risks. Bulgaria on Monday also said that it may halt the rollout of the AstraZeneca AstraZeneca vaccine, following a lead of several other countries that have either stopped or limited its use in other coronavirus vaccination drives. In a related development, meanwhile, the US infectious diseases official Anthony Fauci appeared guarded about the AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine on Tuesday, indicating that it may not be used in America. I think that the AstraZeneca vaccine, from the standpoint of efficiency, is a good vaccine, and if the safety issue gets strengthened out in the European Union, the efficiency of that vaccine is really good, he told the BBC radio on Tuesday. Anyway, whether or not we use the AstraZeneca is unclear, but it looks right now that at this point in time that we will not need it. It's not a negative indicament of the AstraZeneca. It's just possible that given the supply we have from another companies, it may not be need to use the AstraZeneca vaccine. So it sounds like they're all having a go at the AstraZeneca at the moment, obviously relying on the Johnson & Johnson because it's made in America. Again, we shall see what's going on. I've got my little friend down there at the moment. Hello, lovely. I'll be with you in a little while, all right? Bless her. Anyway, a little bit of good news. I know you're looking for some good news this morning. Oh, my God, here she comes. She's literally sat on my shoulder. What are you doing? Hey, you are a cheeky girl. Right. Give her some food. Oh, bless her. Anyway, a story that's been going since I first arrived on this island back in 2005. It seems to be inching its way closer to a reality. Grecian Air Seaplanes plans to launch flights in early September with 3 19-seater seaplanes, which will be gradually increasing in connecting Greek islands and lakeside areas, both with the mainland and between, obviously, the islands. Anyway, the fleet will consist of privately owned seaplanes that are leased. The purchase cost of each of these seaplanes is around £7 million each. $7 million each, and the flights will start from the Ionian first of all, where the first licensed waterways are located, before the company's activities are extended to the Clonides, the Deccanese Islands, Crete, and northeastern Aegean, and the Sporadics, and also the Saronic Gulf as well. So it looks like that's a reality that is now inching its way close. And you never know, if you do get over to Zakynthos, September maybe time, you may see these seaplanes doing takeoff and landings from the port down in town. That's where hopefully they will operate from. I remember in some of the early days of research, they said they had to take off from the airport, and there was a big hoo-ha about having to get specially converted planes that would take off from land and also land on water. That obviously I think has now been ironed out. I remember when they did some trials at one time, actually in the port in town, they built a little platform which could be moved about, so the plane would land and obviously the little platform would come out, people would get on it and then be taken to the shore. So again, it's all exciting stuff. It'll be great to see if that all becomes a reality, but it looks like it is becoming a reality, and it's making me feel a lot more positive. Anyway, and my finally story today, which caught my eye yesterday when I was going through and researching today's news. Guess what? Rum, wine and whiskey and beer saw their biggest rise in sales in Greece in supermarkets in the first quarter of 2020, which is being basically attributed to the fact that all the bars and restaurants have been shut down compared to last year. Now, according to the figures that were published by research firm Nelson IQ on Monday, supermarket sales in the first quarter rose to 67.7% for rum. We're all rum drinkers, it looks like. 49.1% for wine, which I thought would be even more. 43.6% for whiskey and 27.3% for beer. So it looks like people are drinking lots of Bacardi while they've been in lockdown in Greece. The other big seller, believe it or not, and I can actually believe this as well, was hair removal products and hair dyes. They were the next big gainers. There was a 25.1% increase in sales for those, where people are obviously trying to remove or colour their hair themselves, although Jane left it to the experts. And in fact, there was 25% for hair removal products and 22% for hair dyes, actually, pointing obviously to the closure of the hair salons and beauty parlours, which obviously closed down. When it said to lock down on restaurants, meanwhile, it seems that driving the 47.5% spike was oven cleaner sales. Yeah, oven cleaner sales went up because people weren't going out and cooking for themselves. And interestingly as well, guess what else was up? Yes, baking paper. Baking paper was up. That was up by 28%, as everybody was obviously going online and learning how to do their own baking. I know Jane was getting really heavily into the baking at one point, making her own biscuits, and her brandy snaps were absolutely brilliant. And there's no brandy in brandy snaps, so that's not one of the things for the increase. But yeah, so there you go. It looks like everybody there is either baking, removing their hair, dyeing their hair, or just drinking a lot as well. Right, let's have a quick look and see who's tuning in this morning. Thank you, Amanda, for your weather. Quick shout out to Mira Hallberg over there in Sweden. Lindsay Lamb is also tuning in as well. Emma Marku in Essex is there. Tracy Wigley is tuning in. Lovely name, that, Wigley. Also, Bevin Roberts is watching as well. Julie White is watching too. Julie Meldrum is watching. We've got all the Julies in today. Amanda Gregory is watching as well. Philip Ellis is also watching. Nice to see you there, Phil. Shelley Russell. Michelle Ruston up there at the top end of the island. How are you guys getting on? We haven't heard from you in ages. Hope everything's all right in your part of the world. Barry Leatherdale. I've not heard from you in a long time, fella. Nice to see you back again. Barry over there in Essex. Heather Nash in Birmingham. How are you doing, my lovely? Michelle Ruston says, morning, dull, a bit chilly. Oh, sorry, Michelle Ruston in Leek. I do apologise. I thought it was Michelle up on the north end of the island that we know. That's two Michelles. Anyway, morning, she said, it's a bit dull and chilly in Leek today, hoping that it warms up later. Has any of your family been to the pub? That's what I want to know. Which pubs are open in Leek? Jane was talking to her mum yesterday. I think maybe the Mucky Duck was open. The Valiant might have been open as well. Let us know which pubs, and has any of your family been to check them out at the moment? Julie Meldrum says, good morning, lucky to have had our vaccine this morning. We'll feel a little safer after 3 weeks. Well, we'll wait and see. I'm pleased you've had it anyway, Julie. We'll wait and see. At the moment, it looks like they're stopping certain vaccines here in Greece at the moment until they give an all clear. I still haven't had my jab, even though I'm entitled to have it. I'm just still holding off at the moment, just to see where it's all going to lead. But I've got a feeling, like everybody else, you're going to be blackmailed into having it whether you want it or not. I'd sooner just take me chances at the moment. I don't feel any great threat here. I don't feel that my life is in peril or at risk. Probably famous last words, Ginge, you're saying. But at the moment, in the way that we are here at the moment, most of us are following the lockdown rules, and not because we want to, but because we don't want to be fined. That's the point of it. We're being controlled. We're being kept in our homes. I'd rather be out and about. Take your chance. If you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But at the end of the day, we're just playing the game like everybody else is. And this is the sinister overtones of everything that's going on at the moment. I saw a nice little line that said, as soon as Boris Johnson makes an announcement, you know it's going to be a lie. And I would agree 100% with that. And also, I've got to tell you something as well. This afternoon, I've got I'm going to be playing a tune that's just come out. Mick Jagger's written a song all about COVID, and the lyrics of it are absolutely brilliant. He says, basically in a nutshell, the lyrics are controlled by pricks, staying in our homes, fed up doing baking and all that sort of thing. It's also written with the guy from the Foo Fighters, David Groth. I've managed to get a copy of it this morning. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I'll be playing that this afternoon on my show. So make sure you come and join me, 3 o'clock UK time, 5 o'clock Greek time, and I will be airing that new tune from Mr. Mick Jagger. And I've got to be honest, he's not looking too bad. We're trying to figure out how old he was this morning. But again, we will have a look at that anyway. Sean Bowen says, good morning, Ginge, from a beautiful sunny Exmoor. I'm so pleased it's nice and sunny up there. I hope the buzzards are good. Rainer Pete Dillon is watching as well. Andrew the Fridge Watkins is watching. Mike Glattonley is watching as well. Heather Nash says, morning to you and Jane from a cold but chilly Birmingham. Looking forward to your show later. Bless you. Matt Pritchard is tuning in as well. Alf Ling says, morning, DJ Ginge. John Minns is watching. Dennis Patrick Carroll over there in Cyprus is tuning in. He says, morning, Ginge. Barry Leatherdale says, morning, Ginge. Having my second jab today. Best of luck, big buddy. I hope everything goes okay. Alan Woodhouse is watching as well. Derek and Bridget Cole are watching from Cyprus. I hope you're doing all right, guys. I should give you guys a wave, shouldn't I? Also, the lovely Susie Angus is tuning in as well. John Bailey says, morning, bruv. Nice to see you, John. David Douglas, morning. We'll watch later as I always miss the start of your broadcast, but starting to brighten up. Thank you, fella. I appreciate that. Paul Harrison is also watching as well. Another Raf Reg buddy. Mark Pumphrey, another Raf Reg buddy, tuning in. He said, the chickens are screaming up at you, Ginge. Laugh out loud. Yeah, they are. What's her name is getting very cheeky at the moment. I've got to be honest. It's like she's on air giving the chicken side of the news. Today is chicken. Anyway, Danny Norton is watching. Vicky Wood is watching. Heather Nash. The chickens are getting braver by the day. They listen. They've always been brave. The chicken. Do you know what? Chickens are so smart and intelligent. I really do appreciate chickens. They are lovely creatures, and I feel so sorry for all those battery hens in those sheds that are there just producing eggs for everybody. I can honestly say our chickens have a lovely life. Yeah, they probably will end up on a plate at one point. We certainly have their eggs, but do you know what? They have a nice life, all right, Basin, luckily, Basin. Anyway, as Amanda Gregory says, a good wine numbs the pain of this lockdown. You're going to have to start drinking Bacardi because that seems to be the drink at the moment, all the rum that's been drunk. I noticed Raki didn't appear on there, but then again, Raki's made in stills hidden under floorboards in houses and in barns. So, yeah, I should think there's a lot of Raki being drunk as well. Anyway, Paul Fleming is watching as well. Julie Sampson is watching. Andrew the Fridge Watkins says, morning from a cold, sunny Wales. Has nobody had a drink in a bar who tunes in? It looks like nobody's been drinking in the bars, only people doing deliveries. Michelle Rushton says, I wish I was on the island. Oh, that's the one in Leek. Gallimera, I hope you have a good day. That's Steve Hinkling up there in Stoke-on-Trent. I know, Steve, you were supposed to be going to the Hungry Horse yesterday. Did it come off? Did you get to the Hungry Horse, or did they not? Or could you not get in at the moment? Anyway, Ken Gant is watching as well. Nick Haverdale is watching. Andy Orchard, first line responder, is watching as well. Nice to see you tuning in. Steve Hinkling, I thought you'd moved from Leek for a minute, Michelle. He says they obviously know each other. Bless them. Debbie Wolfenholme is watching as well. Murray Haddleberg says good morning. Michelle Rushton says no visits to the pub yet for me. A lot are open, but they have reduced opening hours. The Valiant sounded crazy on Monday when I walked past. Do you know the reason I like about that pub? I like their sign outside, which is of a couple of Hurricanes parked up and a couple of pilots running to their aircraft from like the 1940s. And that's why that pub is called the Valiant, and that's their pub sign. And I just like their pub sign. Crazy pub. It has always been a crazy pub in the Valiant. Anyway, Delia Goodsey is watching as well. Amanda Gregory says, we need to be out amongst the virus to build our immunity against it. Yeah, do you know what? I agree 100%. Totally. I think if this lockdowns that they put us in hadn't occurred, I think a lot of people would have got herd immunity, the same as happened in Sweden, and people would have fought the virus a lot better. Yes, protect the vulnerable, protect the old, but in general, get out and about and let's absorb it. Let our bodies do its thing, because our bodies are wonderful things, the way that they can fight against infection, but unfortunately by keeping us away from the virus, I think it's done more harm than good, to be quite honest. I think should have let it run its course, treat it like it was flu, and if we'd have done that, I think we'd have got rid of all this hysteria that's gone on, the madness that's gone on, and the money that has been spent, because at the end of the day it is going to boil down to the money. I look at the extra debt that Greece is now getting embroiled in with cheap loans, as the Prime Minister said, from the EU, bailout money from the EU, and all it's doing is keeping certain regimes, shall we say, more tightly controlled. And if we start having these vaccination certificates, which to be honest is an ID card in stealth, already there's reports of old people being turned away because they haven't got a smartphone with a track and trace on it, and therefore they're excluded from going into pubs and bars because certain landlords, who obviously bitten into the whole thing, or either under orders from the local council that they must have track and trace on their phone, otherwise they can't come in. Now, when I was in the UK in October last year, the track and trace thing was just getting introduced. I much preferred the thing where you just put your name in a book. Yeah, there was a book in the bar and you wrote your name in there, and that was it. None of this having to go online, tracking your movements and all of that that's going on, because it is, to be honest, all very, very sinister. Listen, there's lots of people passing me comments. Let me just have a quick little flick through. Steve Hodgson says, "Hi, Ginge, just getting up, so missed the best part of your broadcast." Don't worry, it goes up onto YouTube. You can watch it back on YouTube. You can also watch it back on Facebook as well. I have actually been getting people on YouTube saying, "Oh, we want to see it live." So we have some viewers who are coming in, basically watching the broadcast live now, whereas before they watch on YouTube. Please go to the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe as well. Try and get me numbers up there, and also on Twitter as well. It goes on to Twitter and also LinkedIn as well. So there's 4 various locations it goes to, as well as numerous locations on Facebook. It goes on to my Hermes site. It also goes on to Greece's daily bulletin board. Thank you to all those people on there, because they again have really pushed and promoted. And some days when you look at all of the stats of all the different platforms, I'm quite surprised at how many people are tuning into this show. Actually, it does get quite a lot of good feedback, a lot of very positive feedback, to be honest, and also it keeps people informed, and people are obviously getting in touch with me saying, should I book a holiday? When should I book a holiday? And my advice at the moment is book it for late in the season until we really are 100% clear as to what's going on, because at the moment they're very keen to take your money. And once again, if you do book a holiday, don't pay for it on a debit card, pay for it on a credit card, don't accept vouchers. Always try and move your holiday to another date, and if need be, ask for your money back. And also go with an APTA travel agent as well. There have been some travel agents who got rid of the APTA because either they can't afford it, but that is your insurance to get you home if anything goes wrong, all right? So, and there are certain companies, I did have some names of them, that had stopped using APTA cover, but please use a company that's got APTA cover, all right? Steve Hodgson says, Ginge, they're doing that in Turkey. Lockdown, how many are dying over there now is spreading like wildfire. So Turkey, yeah, I must admit, we had a thing about Turkey in there. Turkey looks like now are having problems. Greece always very interested in what Turkey's doing because of all the other sabre rattling that's been going on, although that seems to be taking a little bit of a back seat at the moment. But anyway, we'll wait and see. Right, listen, I'm going to have to go. I've got to go and bury our little one that passed away yesterday or during the night, and also keep my ear close to the ground, see what news is coming up. Plus as well, don't forget, tune in to me this afternoon, 3 o'clock UK time, which is 5 o'clock Greek time. 2 hours of requests and inspiration. Thank you for all those requests coming in. I had absolutely a shed load yesterday, so I sat yesterday evening just going through all those requests last night, but I've still got room for more. So if you want to stick a request in, just pop it in the comments below. I'll take it, and then come and join me this afternoon. And once again, you have a safe day. And if you're going to a pub, let me know about it. Let me know what they're like in the pub you've gone to. Are they making you check with track and trace, or are they just saying put your name in a book, or just come on in, have a drink, don't worry about it, and obviously see what happens. All right. Anyway, you take care. Thank you for the love hearts. So what person is sending those, and I will speak to you again soon. Ta-ra.